right. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. It's so nice to see. I'm pretty much brand new, so everyone's faces are kind of new to me. And I know there's going to be people watching this on the outside, so welcome. So glad to have you joining us, and I hope that this will be informative and kind of help get you through the 54-day challenge. Any questions that you might have about it, and get you excited and give you some helpful tips and tricks to get you to hit your goals and to get you active and moving with your teams. I'm Leslie Bloom. I am the Director of Development and Communications for the Autism Society of Greater Akron. I actually just started in February. I came from 6 years at Autism Speaks, and then in February started with ASGA. And I've been working on the 54-day challenge and other things that we have going on outside of the programs area. And I have been involved with the autism community for a long time, as my husband's cousin was diagnosed at age 3 with Asperger's, and she is now 31. And I've been with him for 20 some years. So it's been a long time. And I've seen their success and their the challenges that they've had, and I've even been able to help them with certain things, which has been great. So I'm so excited that I am here with Autism Society now, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody and talking with all the team captains and going through this journey with you all. And if you see me looking this way, it's because I'm using 2 computers and controlling things on this side. So I'm looking away. So the goals for tonight are to provide an overview of the 54-day challenge, obviously, to talk about the different website features and tools, because there's a lot of different things on the site, but a lot of it's helpful. There's a lot of language and education on there because it's just such a new event. So we want people to understand exactly what's going on. We want to give tips and tips for team recruitment and engagement. Fundraising tips and strategies for everyone who is working towards a fundraising goal. And then we'll do a question and answer at the end if there happens to be any questions. And if you're watching this after it's posted and sent out for the recording, and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. All right, first I want to start by introducing Dan Tompkins. He is our team captain for Team Jet, and he is one of our 2021 Step into Autism Committee co-chairs.
Hey, thanks, Leslie. And you can see the pre-COVID picture that the ASGA has of me and my post 1 year pandemic beard that Suzanne and Jet, who's James Ellis Tompkins, allows me to keep up during the pandemic, and hopefully it'll be gone very, very soon for everyone. Really excited about the event, excited about the opportunity to continue to work with the Autism Society and all the other team captains and all the teams for a successful Step into Autism Challenge.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan. All right, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Jessica Foster. She's with NDSC Puzzle Pieces, and she's our other co-chair, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Yeah, hi. Thank you all for being a part of this terrific event. I feel really honored to be able to co-chair this very important fundraiser this year for Autism Society of Greater Akron. Personally, I'm a developmental pediatrician, and so I work every day with lots of kids and families and individuals with autism. And so I get to see firsthand the impact that the programs offered by ASGA have within our community. So I'm just very, very grateful that you all are here fundraising on behalf of this great organization. It's been especially awesome to see how ASGA has really shifted supports during the pandemic. And again, this challenge is critical for us to keep up those activities. So again, thank you all very much.
Well said. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to dive right in. And I wanted to start with just kind of like challenge features and the structure, since it is such a new event. Very different even from last year. And I don't know if any other groups do it. I mean, there's groups doing some kind of similar things, but it's still pretty new in general. So hopefully this will be helpful information and we'll start working through that. So, really excited about this challenge. I think it's going to be really fun. It's a great way to engage with those people that you haven't seen in a long time, or maybe just seen them on Zoom. Hopefully, we can safely gather together in our little groups, our families, our little teams, go for some kind of activity, walk, run, cycle, something, something to do for through frisbees around the park, but just something to get everybody out, hopefully gather with some of their team, and really get engaged again in step into autism. Um, I think it's also a great opportunity for organizations and companies to engage their staff. So if you are part of a company that is going to get involved or wants to get involved, this is going to be helpful information. And then I also have more information I can send to you to help your group get involved as well. Um, so since we're unable to get together as one walk, um, we're hoping that this is going to be um, the version that will be able to get you all moving. And hopefully you'll participate for all 54 days, but you don't have to be in it for all 54 days. If you register halfway through, that's completely fine. We know that it's hard, it's a long time for you to commit to something. So if you can't do all 54 days, that's totally fine. Whenever you can get in and register is perfect. And then whatever you decide is best for you for your activity, that's going to be perfect too. So I just wanted to mention that, we added, as you can see here on the slide, we added the $25 registration fee for this year. But that's so that everyone that registers gets their t-shirt, as well as a 1 in 54 magnet that they can use on their car, their fridge, wherever you want to use it. So that comes with that amount. And then we've left it as $25 until basically 2 weeks out, just because we know um, it's hard to get registered right now. And instead of changing the prices like we had planned on, we decided we'd just leave it like this. So hopefully this is, just consider it as a self donation, if nothing else. Plus you get a t-shirt and a magnet with it, which is, I think, really great. Um, so I wanted to just get off of this real quick and show just a few of the resources that are on the website that are going to be helpful for you. If I can get past my screen. So when you go to the main website, you're going to see all these different categories up here. So this is where you're going to find a lot of your information. So a lot of different challenge informations here. This is a lot of that information that's going to be kind of walking you through what exactly the challenge is. So you can see here that it talks about, you can also sign up from here, but it's got the two different categories. And then it goes through the description, some of the basics. And then if you go to the other challenge details in FAQ, that's where it kind of digs in a little bit and shows you a lot more information about the registration fees and different questions that are typically, had when you're registering for an event, the t-shirt information, and those kinds of things. So this is something that you can dive into when you have a few minutes, and just to see if there's any questions or any answers for any questions that you might have. The event info as well is, it's basically just some more information about each of the different categories, and then you can always register from here as well. But it talks about the different fees, the discounts for younger children, self-advocates, and college students 18 and over. So all that information is here. So if you need to send it to anybody, that's where you would find that. Registration 101. If you're watching this, you may or may not have registered yet. So this is going to be helpful information for you. So you just kind of go through, and this kind of walks through what you need to do to register, like step by step. So that's the registration 101, and then the FAQ is just more, in the weeds, like what questions that you might have. Some of the answers might be there, and then I'll go through the rest when we go through the rest of the program. Moving pictures around. Sorry. Okay. Um, Jessica or Dan, do you guys have anything you want to mention before we get into the rest of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the start, I'd say, we've gone through sort of 2 seasons of these types of events with various organizations where we've had to shift to online and where we had to shift to not a big event, and we all love the celebrations and we all love the camaraderie and the ability to get together. But one of the best things from a fundraising perspective that I found is no one's plans about a particular date can get in the way of them participating in this on your team. If you have family members or friends or colleagues who want to join you in supporting this organization, but they have a commitment on a particular date, that doesn't matter anymore. They can do the walking, the biking, the activity, the whatever it is. They can join your team and participate whenever and however they are able to. And that's a great sort of hook to be able to talk to people that you want to engage and maybe invite to join your team.
That's a great point. Alrighty. Okay. So as you kind of seen just from me going through the web page, there's the two different categories that people can sign up for. So you can walk, run, cycle, or you can choose another kind of activity, another kind of movement. So as you see, I've listed a few things here. You can gather with your family or team to participate together. Workout equipment what counts. So if you've got a Peloton over, is that the right word? Peloton um, over the COVID year, um, or you have an exercise bike, or you have a treadmill. Those kinds of things count too. You don't have to just be
My
outside.
Nordic track is right behind me out of camera right now, and it will be a key component of my team's success this spring and summer.
Yes, I think you'll have to record yourself on that a few times and share it with everybody. um, Everyday walking does not count for your walking portion of it. So if you wear a little thing on your wrist that tells you what your steps are, we would like you to maybe use a separate app to log exactly what you're moving for that time period that you're specifically doing for the challenge. So if you're going to go for your 1.54-mile walk, if you can use Map My Run or one of the other apps that measures that for you, that would be how we would ask you to measure those steps, that mileage, so that you can log it properly. Because I don't know, but I don't walk 10,000 steps, but I know a lot of people who do. But sometimes I do. But we would like it to be fair, because it's easy to get a lot of steps in depending on what you're doing every day. Um, we're also working on loading up right now some recommended routes in the 5 different counties that we serve. So look for those, and we'll be sharing that information on um, on Facebook, through email, all the different mediums that we use. And we might be putting together a specific challenge just for those, so be on the lookout for that. And then you just log your miles daily, so you don't forget. But if you do forget, you can always get on and go back. You just can't log more than once a day for that date. So if you do 2 things in one day, just log them all together. So that way you get all your miles in. But if you do forget to do it on a daily basis, you can go back to a different date and plug those back in. Let's Move is just a little different. You set your time. I don't know if you actually, as I was looking through it, I'm not sure if it lets you set a goal, but if it does, you can set your goal, and then you track your time, you track your minutes. I would recommend doing 30 minutes a day, but you can do however many that you want, and it doesn't have to be all one time, which is great. So if you want to do some dancing, you have a workout, you're going to go play catch with your children, um, throw a frisbee around, stuff like that. You could do those at different times and just kind of log your time. And it doesn't have to be the same activity every day if you're doing the Let's Move program. And then you just log your time. There's a typo there, I'm sorry. You log your time daily, just like you would if you were doing the miles portion of it, so that you're keeping up with your time. Um, so I want to go through the logging of those times and those miles, because that's something I think is going to be a big question. So what you would do is you would go into the results tab, and this is what you're going to see. So obviously we don't have anything going on right now. So I'm going to show you a different site if my mouse would work. Um, and so if you're logging, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see these mile, and it's going to make it look a little different, but you're going to see these different things that like says your miles on it, and then it'll be giving you your times, and then you'll be able to see, things like this for like your team. So that's really a great way to see what's going on, and then you can move everything out of the way. And then, so starting Saturday, that's when we can start logging because that's the official start of the challenge. And then, sorry, my mouse is not working all of a sudden. Here we go. And then when you are ready to log your results, you would come up to this submit virtual results, and then it's going to yell at me. It's going to ask for my information, so I'm going to look up my registration, and then you can see I have 3 for some reason. And then you'll go to log activities, and then this is where you'll be able to, and I'm signed up for run, walk, cycle. So then you would go in here, pick which activity that you did, which is going to be important because when we do our prizes and stuff later on, people who ride their bikes probably ride a little, can go a little further than people who are running or walking. So we'll be looking at that when we're doing awards and stuff. So, just put in whichever one you're doing, the date that you're doing it on, obviously the distance in miles, and then any comments that you want to put. If you want to put, it was pouring rain this day, or this was my best mileage yet, something like that. Then you can put that there, and then you just hit submit activity. So it's pretty easy to log them. There's another place that you can go as well. And if you go to your profile, and then you would go to find your, see, I'm not logged into my personal one. If you go into your personal page, you can go to, it should say log results. But it's really easy just to go to the main page even, and just go to results. So it's super easy to find, and then you just have to look yourself up. And then you'll get it submitted for the day. And then if you need to do a different day as you missed yesterday, then you can do that at the same time as well. All right, I'm going to go back to the profile. So I want to show you how to get into your team and individual profiles. So you go to the little person. It might have a picture if you load a picture. And then once you're in profile, this is where you'll see yourself again, which is where I was. And then you could go to edit fundraiser. And then this is where you're going to be able to change any information that you have. So your team name, this is where you can type in your URL. So you can make it specific. So it can say whatever your team name is, or your name, if it's your individual name. You can adjust your fundraising goal. If you've hit your goal and you want to boost it up, you can change it here. You can show your goal thermometer. There's these different things here that you can change. This is where you can add a picture. And then this is where you would edit your story. So right here, it's like says team name. So you can just put your team name in. You can put your own personalized story in here. This is just something that I've put together for just to kind of fill it in, that you can use, but add more to it if you'd like to. And then you can even list like if you have different fundraising captains, and then you just hit save, and then that should be all good to go. You don't need to set a password. We kind of recommend not doing it, but it'd be for like if somebody wanted to make sure that only certain people could sign up for their team, they would use a password for that, but it's not necessary. So I just wanted to throw that out there so it wasn't confusing.
Hey,
Um,
Leslie, can I make a plug for the
yeah,
personalization and for the story?
yes, I wanted to actually show your page.
You can't spend a better 10 minutes than typing out why you're doing this in your own words. Because when you share it via email or on Facebook or with your friends or with your family, the story you tell about your team and why this is important to you is so much more impactful than anything else that's on these pages. The people that you know who love you and your connection to this organization and this cause will read those words and see that story and click donate in 3 seconds. It'll happen like that because your story is what they connect to about this issue as well. It's so important to tell that story.
I agree. Is big. And it's the smallest thing that you can do to really kind of show people why they should support you, and then support the organization that's supporting you as well. So thank you. That was a good point. Yes, and I have your page up to show. So yes, here's Dan's story. Here's a cute picture. um, and then
He's grown about 3 inches since that picture was taken, and it's not more than a year old.
aw.
Three might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but the boy is a weed.
I feel like we all feel that. um, and then let's see. Oh, and then something else that Dan can talk about is Facebook donations. As you can see, Dan has had several Facebook donations to help him get past his goal already. And so I want to show you how you can do that if you missed it, or if you aren't able to put it together at the time you register. You should get a pop-up window, and it says, start your Facebook fundraiser, and it has a button that you can click. First of all, if you're going to do it, then make sure your pop-off blocker is off, because otherwise it's going to hide whatever pops up for you to do your Facebook fundraiser setup. So just make sure your pop-off blocker is off when you're registering, and that should solve most of the problems with that. So if you go into your profile again, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it actually because I am in this other ping. So edit fundraiser, and let's see, the bottom might not show me. Okay, so if you are on your individual page, and I apologize, I have this wrong page up, but at the bottom of your profile page for your individual self, there will be something at the bottom that says start your Facebook fundraiser. So that's where you'll be able to find it if you aren't able to do it in the beginning when you register your team. So if you've already registered and you wanted to start your Facebook fundraiser, that's where you would go. But if you have any problems finding it, just please feel free to reach out to me, because the Facebook fundraisers are one of the easiest ways to fundraise for an event like this. Dan literally had put his up, and within hours, I think he had $785, if I remember correctly. And then 24 hours later, it was another 1,000 on top of that. And all he did was share his Facebook fundraiser. And I've seen a lot of success with that the past couple of years too, because it's so easy. And if you are uncomfortable making that hard ask, to ask somebody specific, then it's really easy to put it up on Facebook and be like, hey, we're doing this event. This is why. Here's my story. Love for you to support us. Thank you so much. And then just have it out there for them. And then people will hopefully, donate. They can donate as little as $5 or as much as they are able to. So it's a really great opportunity. Dan, do you have any comments about Facebook fundraising since you blew it out of the water with it?
It's just so easy. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense to not do it. If you have a Facebook account and you're doing a fundraiser and you can link the fundraiser to the Facebook account, you should. You tell your story, you've written those words. The people who you're connected to on Facebook know you for the most part, right? I've got a lot of years worth of a lot of friends and living in a lot of places, and they're all connected to me for whatever reason, but they see what I'm doing and they care about my life and they're connected to me still. And it's just a really easy way for them to participate in my life still, even if we're not, physically close anymore because we moved a number of times. It's also just another way for people to participate and to support the fundraiser, and making the asks that you have easier for people to support is the easiest way to do it. Facebook won't get everybody. Some people you're gonna have to call, some people you're gonna have to email. But if you have an account and you have this fundraiser, it's just so simple to link them and make it that part of your ask so much easier.
Fantastic. Yes. So I wanted to show another aspect. So this is Andrew's Heroes, and Amber is on our team captain for this team as well. And so I wanted to just show some options that you have when you are editing in your profile. There's this cool feature where you can have multiple pictures and it turns into basically a slideshow, which is fantastic. I love her photos. Great big team, her cute kiddos. So that's something that you can do. And then you'll be seeing as you're fundraising that you're going to have these badges, which are really fun, and it kind of helps you to kind of see where you're at. Then you've got your thermometer here, or your fundraising bar here to kind of show you where you're at with your goal. You can see your top donors right here, which is really fun because anybody can see this. So if you send people to your page, this is what they're going to see. So that's why it's so important for you to update your story, just like Amber has. She's updated her story here as well. And then she updated her pictures. This is where you can see all your team members and how much they've raised individually, which is really, really a good tool for team captains. Because then you can say, hey, I see you haven't raised anything yet. Is there something I can help you with? Or hey, have you started a Facebook fundraiser yet? So it's just kind of a really great tool for team captains. And
Can I
then
throw one more tip in there?
Yeah.
Every time you get a new badge, talk about it. Every time you get a new plateau, tell your network about it. Every time that you get something from the Step Up Challenge, blast it out to your network, because that's just another way for you to engage with the people who might be willing to contribute to your team. So, hey, I made it halfway to my goal. Can you help me get, the next step towards all the way there? You're showing progress. You're showing that you're engaged. You're showing that people are joining your team. And it really does make people want to jump in. Every time I've done that in the past, I've gotten engagement from people in my network who had not yet contributed, who did, because I kept reminding them that I was doing it and that I was being successful at it.
Yes, for sure. And if you're really close to your next milestone, you can put it out there and be like, hey, I am $25 away, or I'm $50 away. Can you help me hit my goal? It's, just like you said with, help me get to my, I'm halfway there. Like, it's such a great way to encourage people and kind of really motivate them to do that. And with the incentive items, which we'll talk about too, you can say, I really want to earn this item. Can you help me reach it? I've actually had that work. We're like, okay, yeah, I'll help you. So that's a really great point. Thank you for sharing that. And it's just fun. It's fun to share accomplishments that you have. And then just real quick, when you send people to your page, this is where they can donate or they can join your team as well. So everything is on this page that you really need, either as a team captain or as an individual, to really get you to going and keep track of everything that you have going on. Anything else? And Jessica or Amber, does anybody have anything before I jump off of this to the next thing? Amber, how easy was it to set up your page?
Oh, it was easy. I mean, it definitely, yeah. It step by step, it just shows you how to do it. So it definitely was easy.
Wonderful. Okay. let's move on. Okay. Alrighty. So team member recruitment. I know Amber and I were talking about it before that it's really hard. It's a different kind of event. It's hard to recruit team members when you're not going to a physical event, but it shouldn't stop you, and it's still very doable. Your team might just look a little different. You might be engaging with your team via Zoom or FaceTime or whatever. But there's still really great ways to engage with your team members and to help them participate and still support you how they normally would if they were to come to the walk event with you. Because I know there's lots of teams that have pretty decent sized teams, but it's the event itself that really kind of draws people. But there's still lots of opportunity and lots of ways to engage with folks, to still get them engaged in the walk this year. So I recommend starting with who you know, ask your past members, friends who maybe have said that they would do it and they hadn't done it yet, any new friends that you have. Those are all really great people to reach out to. Um, Share your story on social media, in your emails, whatnot. Just like Dan said, it's so important. Post pictures of your team, your family, you know, things you did for the last couple of years, with us. Those really help catch people's eye, and cute children really help, kind of like, and then telling the story, so that really helps kind of get people motivated, especially if they're new and haven't been on your team before. Recruit coworkers. Share your story with them again, and your why. And then there's different ways that you can, get that out to your coworkers. You can ask your company to share it, your CEO or your manager. You can post information. You can make a flyer, or we can help you make a flyer that you can post on a common board. You can send an email out to all of them, to ask for either donations or for them to join your team, whatever they might be able to do. And just talk to them as you're talking to your coworkers. Mention it to them, ask them if they want to join your team, and tell them about it. And then you can do the event, you're walking or whatever from your office, from hopefully in nice weather outside. So that's a really great way to recruit some new or re-engage some old team members. And just be excited about it and passionate, telling your story, being excited for it. It stinks that we can't have it in person, but this is really exciting too. And just, make it a goal for yourself, and hopefully others will join in the challenge with you for that. Any other thoughts, Jessica or anybody, for team member recruitment during this interesting time? We're all in the same boat. Perfect. All right. So keeping your team engaged and promoting team spirit, again, it's a lot different than it normally would be. So I have a bunch of different ideas, and this will be available. So I'll go through some of them, and then you know, and we can always help with ideas as well if you want to reach out. So weekly emails are really great, or bi-weekly, whatever works, since it's over several weeks. But just reaching out and welcoming new members, new donations from either people who have donated on your team or have gotten donations. Different shout outs to different people who have raised, hit their milestones or raised a certain amount of money. You can give team awards for spirit or most days completed. One of the ones I saw was most experienced. So that's for older people who maybe did a decent amount of miles and they're a much older person. So those are kind of really fun ways to engage with folks trying to get together in person. That's a really great way to engage with people. And then Facebook, again, is a huge and great tool for us to use during this different time. You can do basically the same thing, but as in the emails, but with Facebook. So weekly Facebook posts, updates, like Dan said, share your badges with your team members. You can start a Facebook group, which is a really great way for you to communicate in the group, especially if you have team members that don't communicate normally, maybe don't have each other's phone numbers. But you could set up, walk dates or whatever through that. post your, I hit my goal, or I hit this milestone. So it's a really great way to engage with people. And then just post thank yous to the donors and team members. Use fun gifts. Those are really always really fun to see, and usually put a smile on somebody's face as well. So those are some just really easy ways to engage, even though we're doing everything online. Any other thoughts from my team over here for team
It's just,
engagement?
if you've got that Facebook fundraiser set up and you thank one of your donors, it's not just the people who have supported your fundraiser that see it, it's everyone you're friends with on Facebook see you thanking someone for their contribution to your fundraiser. So you literally get your entire network seeing that thank you, and it just spreads that message farther and more regularly and reminds people. And it's not a heavy ask. You're not having to go to every single person on your network and ask them for a contribution. You're just celebrating someone who did. Other people will see that and act on it.
All right. So I know we're getting a little long. So we're going to jump into some fundraising real quick. And I'm going to introduce Amber, who is our team captain for Andrew's Heroes. And she's going to talk about her fundraising real quick, her success over the years, and then kind of what she's got planned for this year.
I'm Amber Voitish, and I am, like Leslie said, the team captain of Andrew's Heroes. Andrew is my son, and we walk for him, but we kind of came up with our name because all of our friends and family that walk with us are his heroes. So we're Andrew's Heroes. With our fundraising, we, before COVID, we would hold a shopping fundraiser, which we held at a local church. And we just invited a bunch of vendors, and they would all come and bring raffle prizes, and we would do like a raffle auction, and we would do a bake sale, and each vendor would donate a certain percentage or an amount that they wanted to our walk team. And that was very successful for us. Everyone loved it. But unfortunately, when COVID hit last year, we had to cancel our fundraisers. So we started doing online ones. A few of the vendors have reached out to me again this year about doing some online parties with 31, Posh, Tupperware, Lularoe, and they are able to set up through their companies, through their sites, and then we share it on our Facebook pages. They share it on their pages, their emails, and then they still donate a percentage back to our walk team. We've also reached out to like local restaurants in our town. We're like in North Summit County, so we're right at the tippy top of Summit County. But we've reached out to like our local Handles is doing an ice cream fundraiser for us on Thursday, actually this week. Next week, our local Chipotle is doing a fundraiser for us there. Our Five Below store does one. So we just try to reach out to some of the businesses that we know have put on fundraisers before to see if they would be willing to support us.
That's great. And yeah, there's a ton of different, fundraising programs and give back nights that you can do with restaurants. And I have some of them, I think, even listed on the page, which I'll go over real quickly in a minute. But yeah, there's a lot of different organizations and companies that will do that for you. So that's great. I know I've never seen so many fundraisers going on at one time. I love it. All right. So Dan and I are going to dive into this. Dan, do you want to go through this? Or do you want me to?
Why don't you start?
Okay. So these are just some easy tips and strategies I put together because there's a whole slew of them on the website that you can reference at any given point. But again, sharing your story, sending requests to your friends and family, posting about your progress. Those are all huge tips that you can do to really push your fundraising. Starting the Facebook fundraiser, again, is really big. Ask your company about matching gifts if they do matching gifts, and you can have your donation matched, or sometimes they match your whole fundraising. It just depends on your organization, your company. So don't be afraid to ask if there is that program set in place. Host a virtual fundraising event or a give back day, like Amber said. Those are pretty easy to put together. There's lots of information out there right now from the last year that people have been doing virtual events. So bingo nights or trivia nights, stuff like that. Those are pretty easy to do online now. And then you can, charge a small fee for people to participate. Um, Find a fundraising program that gives you part of the money back. So like Tupperware or something like that, where you're doing that kind of thing, but then that person, that organization is going to give you dollars back. Krispy Kreme does it. There's a few others. So those are all listed on the website as well, or there's several listed. Ask your company to donate or sponsor your team. If you're going to do a team t-shirt, which I think is still really fun to do, even if we're not getting together for the walk, but it might be really fun to wear at the resource fair later on. But you can put their logo on the back of your shirt or something like that. But you can ask your company to support you in that way. And then, as I listed, there's the fundraising tips and ideas that we'll talk about too. And that's available to anybody who needs them.
Yeah, it's a good list, Leslie. And I think, if you want to sort of go down to the A's and B's and C's under some of those ones and twos and threes, right? I mean, don't just ask if your company has a matching gift. If someone donates to you and they work at a large company, ask them if their company has a matching program and see if there's anything you can do to help them get that match from their company. My company does have a foundation and a matching program. I fill out the forms for anyone I know who's a colleague of mine who works at the company, so that all they have to do is literally sign it and date it, and all the information about when they made the contribution and how much it was and who it's going to is done for them. That's something you can do for people who are contributing to make it easier to get that additional money. On the asking your company to donate or sponsor, and on the t-shirt part particularly, even if we're not getting together, you're going to take pictures of yourself in your t-shirts, and they're going to have that, if a company sponsors it, logo on it. Tag that company in your social media posts about you and your team wearing their t-shirts, and thank them for supporting your effort. Anyone who follows that company is going to see what they're supporting and what you're doing, and have the ability, because your link to your fundraiser is going to be right there, to also just click and support the fundraiser as well. There are all sorts of ways to connect everything you're doing so that anyone who sees what you're doing can just really easily say, that's fantastic. I want to support that person. I want to support that organization. And I'm going to click right here and do it.
That's great. Thank you. Okay. All right. So the fun part. So we're going to have some great fundraising prizes and awards. And some of them we're still working out because we're trying to get the logos and everything fixed on them. So we'll have those posted here soon. But here is the breakdown. And this is on the website too. So I'm not going to go through all of it, but just to kind of plan ahead, so that if you are interested in trying to earn some of these awards and prizes, these will really help you kind of get yourself started, especially with kickoff starting in a few days. So top fundraising team, team spirit award, most team miles, and most team time. So that's why it's going to be really important for you to make sure that you get everybody to log their time or their miles, because it can help your team possibly get an award or something like that. And then top 5 fundraising teams will be recognized at the resource fair on June 19th. And that's for teams that are $2,500 and more. So there's going to be several individual awards breaking down most miles logged and let's move for different age ranges, and for male, female. There is going to be, we're hoping to do a 54-day raffle. So if you do all 54 days, you'll get put in for a raffle, and we're still determining what that price is going to be. So, still a good time to plan to do 54 days and see what you might be able to possibly win. Grand Club, same as always. And for those who don't know, Grand Club is for any individual that raises $1,000 or more. And besides the other items that you'll get, you'll receive a certificate, and you'll be recognized during the awards at the resource fair on June 19th as well. So the individual fundraising recognition items and levels are there as well on the side and here. Um, and those are something that we're finishing up those prizes for right now. So be on the lookout for those announcements here very shortly. Does anybody have any comments on the fundraising prizes and awards from any past years or no? But those are a fun thing to reach towards. So all right, real quickly, I wanted to talk about the resource fair and family fun day, and there'll be more information on this soon. But as you can see, um, we are going to be doing an in-person resource fair and family fun day at Lock 3 Park, downtown Akron from 10 to 1 on June 19th. And it'll be basically to finish out the 54-day challenge, which will end 2 days before this. And we'll all come together and have our socially distanced resource fair. We're going to ask everybody to wear masks still. And as long as they can, because we know a lot of individuals might not be able to wear masks, but we would like those who can to please wear them. And we will make sure that there will be plenty of hand sanitizer and hand washing stations, and everyone's going to be kind of distanced. So we're going to have, one family at a time at a table, and each individual resource or vendor will have their own precautions put into place. And we will still have some activities, yard games and those kinds of things. So just fun things to do, characters, those, some of the normal things that we used to do. So we're hoping that people will join us, and you don't have to register for the event to come to this resource fair, and it's open for everybody. So please feel free to, bring your family, your team, to join you. And this is where we'll do the awards and everything as well. So more information on that to come soon. Um, all right. I don't know that we're going to have any questions. Is there anything else that you guys might want to add from my team here?
Just thanks for the great overview and all your work on this, Leslie.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys being on. Did you have any final thoughts, Jessica? I know Dan and I talked a lot.
I'm just really want to encourage everybody to join. I think it could be a great time. It's a great way to engage with folks and feel some team spirit and camaraderie, even when you're not necessarily able to be together at the actual physical event. So I think it can still be just a terrific time and a terrific experience. So
Well said. I agree. Well, thank you so much. We're going to be sharing this recording, so if you're watching it um, after the fact, please feel free to reach out to me if there's any questions. And again, there's a whole slew of information on the website that I would like you to look through. And if there's anything that if you need help registering, I can help with that too. So please feel free to reach out to me, and my information will be listed in any posts and the emails that this comes in. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Amber, Deanne, and Jessica. And I hope everyone has a great day.